Chapter 8. The Land of Hot Sands, Saudi Arabia. Ponder point. Human life in deserts is quite different than life in temperate grasslands. Mostly the life in deserts is nomadic. It depends on finding water and shelter. Do you think we still have nomads in the deserts? Reading objectives. Saudi Arabia, land and climate. Flora and fauna. Life of the people. Saudi Arabia, the land of hot sands, is a large country. Its capital is Riyadh. Saudi Arabia is situated in Arabian Peninsula. It is the largest peninsula in the world. It lies between the Red Sea on west and the Persian Gulf on the east. Get to know more. A peninsula is a piece of land projecting out into the sea. It is surrounded by water on three sides. Our southern India is also a peninsula. Most of Saudi Arabia is a high rocky plateau covered by a vast desert. The desert is covered with small hills of sand called sand dunes. Strong winds and dust storms keep blowing and shifting these sand dunes from one place to another. There are no lakes or rivers in this land. But you can find oases at some places. The Al-Tasa is the largest oasis in Saudi Arabia. When underground water comes to the surface from oasis and fertile area nearby. The climate of Saudi Arabia is hot and dry. The Tropic of Cancer passes through the middle of Saudi Arabia. The country gets very little rainfall, humidity is low. The sun shines bright and hot throughout the year. As the sand in the desert cools down quickly, the nights are cool. During winter, the nights are very cold. Flora and fauna. Cacti and some small shrubs which can withstand the hot and dry conditions, can be seen growing in the desert regions of Saudi Arabia. Very few plants can grow in a desert climate. Saudi Arabia is the second largest producer of petroleum after Russia. However, it is the biggest exporter of petroleum. The petroleum production of Saudi Arabia is about 11 times that of India. This has increased the wealth and prosperity of the people. Date palms and some crops such as wheat and barley are grown in the oasis. Life of the people. Because of its oil reserves, Saudi Arabia is a very rich country. The people have modern facilities and the standard of living is quite high. Riyadh and Jeddah are modern cities. Though the cities are modern, the society in Saudi Arabia is very traditional. The country is ruled by the king. Women must cover their head and body in the traditional abaya, a black dress that only leaves their eyes exposed when they go out. Men wear the traditional loose-fitting white robes called thiba with their heads covered with white cloth, held in place by a headgear. Traditionally, the people of Saudi Arabia were nomads. Even Bedouins people follow their lifestyle. They rear cattle and move from one place to another in search of pastures for their flocks of goats, sheep and camel. With time their lifestyle is also changing. Religion. Saudi Arabia is an Islamic state. The religion Islam was founded by Prophet Muhammad in Saudi Arabia. Makkah is the most important pilgrim center of the Muslims. Medina is another important religious center here. Get to know more. The major difference between social life of India and Saudi Arabia is that Saudi Arabia is an Islamic state but India is a secular state. There is no official religion in India. Every citizen is free to follow what religion she chooses. Searching dictionary. Dune. Small hills of sand that keep shifting due to strong winds. Oasis. Fertile area formed in the desert by underground water that comes to the surface. Word to know. Saudi Arabia is a large country. Its capital is Riyadh. Its geographical shape is peninsular. Saudi Arabian desert is covered with small hills of sand called sand dunes. Saudi Arabia is a rich country because of vast deposits of petroleum. Bedouins are nomads of Saudi Arabia. Makkah and Medina, the two important Muslim religious centers in Saudi Arabia, are visited by millions of Muslims every year.